Hello everybody, this is Starman, and welcome back to Let's Play Betrayal at Krondor. Well, last time you remember, we finally got out of Krondor at the start of Chapter 2 and made our way a fair pace up the coast, encountering much less resistance than we did in Chapter 1, even ignoring the roundabout route that we took, but we are now just outside of LaMut, have entered the Mac Mordain mine, and I did have a reason for coming back here, because even though you don't technically need to return here until Chapter 6, you can in fact explore most of the rest of the upper level and lower level starting in Chapter 2. And why would we want to do that, you ask? Well, there is a fair bit of treasure to be found here. And we have now learned what that type of lock looks like. And I don't think there's anything to fight in this room, from what I recall. But there is a chest. Is a Mordhell chest. Now, how the heck they got a Mordhell chest into a dwarven mine is best not pondered. But round as an apple, deep as a cup, all the bitter sea can't fill it up. Save. And this one has a very fancy book in it. Lorgan's Journal. It's spined a patchwork of cracked hide and shiny leather, new pages sandwiched between ancient sheaves of parchment. The book had been repaired numerous times during its long history. A journal of an unknown dwarf. The majority of the pages in the book were concerned with a creature which the author referred alternatively as a Braknir, Braknor. Oh, hey, Brak! And Braknor. Some mention was made about a secret chamber in the lower chambers of the Mac Mordain Cadal, which had once been occupied by someone named Ruagar. Yes, that would be a reference to Ruagar the Dragon, which, let's go ahead and ditch the book here, because we won't need that anymore. Funny how the letters reset itself back to where it was. But, yes, in Magician, Raymond Feist's first book, Ruagar was the name of a dragon who befriended Thomas, Pug's best friend, that being Pug the magician, who we saw earlier. And I believe there actually is. Never exit out this way. But, yeah, Ruagar was a dragon who lived in the lowest recesses of the Mac Mordain Cadal. Just getting that quick scan of the room done. And, in an effort to go spread news to part of the kingdom, Pug, Thomas, and the party they were with, they got separated, Thomas being chased deeper into the mine. The dwarves went looking for him later, and found that Thomas had found this dragon's lair right before this ancient dragon was about to die. And the dragon wound up giving Dolgan, who is the leader of the local dwarves, and Thomas gifts for sitting the death watch with him, since none of his own kind could make it in time. And, well, I won't spoil the book before then, but as I've said before, if you have the opportunity, check out Magician by Raymond Feist and the rest of the early Rift War novels. And got another puzzle box here. Although my cow is dead, I continue to beat her. What a racket she makes. Now, this one's a bit lateral, but cowskin drum. And a set of weed walkers. which we'll go ahead and take that. Worth a fair bit, I'd think. I guess we have been hitting the midnight oil for a bit. This light spell does last a fair bit, doesn't it? And dead end of the mine there. And then take this side passage. Aha! Rogues. Who we managed to surprise. Let's see. The human rogues are using Mordhell weapons. Alright, one chest. And we have learned our lesson about dealing with these, I think. And the chest is trapped. Luckily, James is much better at disarming this sort of thing than Locklear is. Lifetime on the streets of Krondor, training to become the greatest thief in the world will do that for you. I don't think... Yeah, nothing in here. Old school dungeon delving, kids. Gotta love it. And you might remember this chest from before. Though I don't think we were able to get this one, but easy peasy for James, but there's nothing in it. And I believe we did explore that way before. Yeah, dead end room that way. But we did not check the east branch this way, if I recall. And yeah, nothing in this one. And our light spell just wore off. Which is odd that we need it, given that there are all these torches lining the wall. Someone or something screamed a warning. By the time reached the ears of his companion, James already sized up the situation and stood poised for the first strike. Okay, well, we've got 4 rogues here. And a treasure chest from the look of it. Well, I have been hoping to keep some of them grouped together, but honestly, Owen has become capable enough as a fighter at this point with the gear that we've got him. We really don't have to worry about him too much. Looks like a dead end here, so let's see. Well, I had meant to click on the body, not the chest, but 2 legs it has, and this will confound. Only at rest do they touch the ground. Now, this one is a bit tricky, but I remember it because it was so tricky. Because typically there is a certain word on this in the modern day, but it is in fact wheelbarrow. 2 legs behind the wheel, and hey, extra ring of Predator. What the heck? Let's try that again. Alright. Let's see, bit of gold. Well, we may not be able to loot that body at all because of... Oh, wait. Okay. Thought it was the same one, but slightly different whetstone there. Alright, continue down this crossroads here. Owen laughed. Quickly, James impaled his mirthful companion with a venomous scowl. Not at all amused that he hit himself on the head, trying to close the door. I think it'd be easier on your head if you backed off a step, Owen said in a patronizing tone. Keep laughing and I'll use yours as a battering ram, James replied. They agreed to attack. Okay. Now we can ambush the rogues. The enemy was not surprised. I don't recall having given you permission to be here. A large bull-necked man stalked toward them, his fists curled before him. Turn around. We don't want any trouble. We're simply passing through, James replied. Immediately, the man turned and snapped his fingers, and moments later, the battle was joined. Well, there's only 3 of them. And they didn't have the sense to charge the spellcaster, so let's go ahead and blind that archer first. Alright, see if there's anything useful on these guys. Or if not useful, then valuable. Spoiled rations. Bit of gold. Unspoiled rations. Well, there's a chest. Okay, safe chest. See if James can pick this one, which he can, but it's standard armor and weapon, nothing we particularly need at this point. And here's the bit where we fought the Braknur before. But now, the stairwell spiraled downward. Well, inquired Goraf, shall we? Yes, we shall. And, okay, I need to rest again. Actually, given how we're walking wounded, we definitely need a rest. And, James had no idea what to do with the Ring of Prager. I could be wrong, but this looks like a magician's handiwork, Owen said. I'm not sure if I have room in my rucksack right now, but I'll take it off your hands if you like. So, yeah, apparently Owen is the only one who can use that. Strangely enough. Owen, no wonder James's fighting has not been as great as it should be. Whoop. We have a rather bountiful lockpick collection, don't we? That done. Oh. The whole reason I was in inventory in the first place, I completely forgot about it. Alright, let's go ahead and try this pathway first. Gilder Passkey. Here's an interesting question. We can cast Dragon's Breath underground, which gave us just the edge we needed to surprise these guys. Of course, now we've got this gray filter over everything we're looking at until the fog passes. No, we are not going to try and force that open. Not until we get a safe distance and save. Okay, probably safe. Okay, well, beyond James's abilities to pick, which is rather astonishing. Unfortunately, there's no equivalent of the knock spell in this game. That being a D&D spell that allows you to open any non-magically locked chest. So we may have to leave that one for later in the game. And yeah, I'm deliberately taking every possible turn at this point. Seems as good a direction as any. And now here's a large room. Which appears to be completely empty. Unless we check the very middle, and yep. Nothing. And double nothing. And nothing in that pile of rocks. Alright, well, if memory serves, I believe our original intent in coming here, which I've been keeping a secret, is close to here. In fact, I believe this is it. So let's see, a pit yawned before them. Careful not to get edge too close and fall in. Let's go ahead and jump it. A kobold climbed, grunting, from the pit. Goraf put a hand on his sword, but the creature seemed unarmed, so after a moment he relaxed his grip. In Broken Kingdom tongue, the kobold began to speak to them of Rugar, the dragon who once inhabited the mines. Convinced the dwarves were somehow responsible for the dragon's disappearance, they had decided to bribe King Dolgan into freeing it. "We would have a grey tower plate," croaked the kobold. "Have you of what we speak?" James considered the question for a moment, unsure how to answer. "Well, in fact, I did buy a brand new set of Grey Tower plate right before we left Krondor. So, yes, we do." James nodded. "Yes, we do," he said slowly. "What would be profit of letting you have it?" The kobold considered this for a moment, then turned to the pit and made some signaling motions with his hands while shouting instructions in a language James didn't understand. After close to an hour, a strange-looking metallic goblet was brought to the surface by several young kobolds who held it reverently as if it possessed great value. James placed the Grey Tower plate on the floor of the mine near the pit, and stepped back so it could be inspected. Apparently satisfied with the offer, the kobolds motioned them forward that they may sip from the goblet. Goraf was the first. He let the cold liquid trickle into his mouth from the cup. Almost immediately he felt a new sense of strength and vitality. It began in his mouth and chest, then radiated away from those areas like ripples on a still pond. The kobolds gave a sip to everyone, then climbed back into the darkness of the pit. Goraf's abilities have increased. Well, in fact, everybody's abilities have increased. What that little potion just did is it raised everybody's health and stamina 5 points. Which, let me look at that. Yeah, Owen has more stamina than James, strangely enough, and not quite as much health. And Owen is a better melee fighter than James at this point, and has just as much defense. Someone ahead shouted. Hurrying down the corridor to see what was the cause of the commotion James was halted by an angry-looking dwarf. "No further, lad," the dwarf drawled. "We've not cleared out the way to the lower caverns as of yet, and there's a danger of a collapse. Turn round and leave us to our work." When James realized the dwarf couldn't be reasoned with, they lopped back down the low-ceiling corridor. Well, that doesn't leave us needing to go back the other way. But yeah, we have now boosted our health rather considerably, and I think that is everything on this part of the mine we can explore. Yeah, we finished that part. Now, there will be more of it to look at later. We'll go ahead and speed walk out of here, and I think we've got just enough time. Yeah, I thought we kept going straight, we'd run back into... Well, we have another option here. Rugar's room. Who or what was Rugar, and what is his chamber? I've heard somebody talking about him, it... Overheard my toes you've been poking about, haven't you? No harm in it, though. Rugar was a grand beastie, a dragon. For centuries he lived here in the Mac Mordain, but he passed on at last near 10 years ago. I've heard King Dolgan say that the elven consort Thomas was present when Rugar passed on, but I'm scarce to believe it. The chamber is a marvel, though, buried somewhere beyond where our digging is at the moment. At one time there was quite a bit of treasure there, an unfortunate large amount of it concealed in chests with Mordain wordlocks. Perhaps there may still be. Come back later and mayhap we'll see it together. And wordlocks. What's a Mordain wordlock? What's a paladin? Little in-joke there for you fans of the Spoony experiment. A more bastardly lock that's never been crafted not by dwarf nor man. It's got little wheels that the body turns, each representing a letter of the alphabet. In order to open the chest, you got to make the letters spell to a word what the lock's designer had in mind to open it up. Most have a clue plate attached to the front, what's written in Mordhell, in case the lockmaker ever forgets the word. Of course, the clue plates have no bloody use to the vast majority of kingdom folk, written in bloody Mordhell. Alright, so let's go ahead and see if we can get to LaMut without one more combat in the way. Huh. Honestly, I just want to go back here to check out the tavern. And no money in the river this time. $63 gold. Let's see if Duval has anything to say to us. You think quite a bit of yourself, don't you, lad? Perhaps. What makes you think so? Most folk enter a room, they look to the left, look to the right, check out the lay of a place when they choose where to go. When you come prancing in here, you walk straight in as an arrow as if nothing could stand you in the way. No one does that that's not stupid or very good with a knife. Well, I'm not stupid. Didn't think you were, but I'd wager I'm sorry that you've done some time as a thief. I suggest you lay a heavy amount on that wager, you'd win. But all that was a long time ago. I'm in the service of the prince now. How do you know? It's a shame, almost. There's a new section of the Mac Mordain Cadal that's just been reopened by the workers. There's a terrible collapse not too long ago, and they say there's a chamber there just heaped up with treasure. Why tell me? Why not get the treasure yourself? That would be stealing it from yourself. It's dwarven treasure, after all. Besides, I wouldn't have the desire to try. If you're no thief, I have nothing to worry about in telling you. And if you are, again, I've got nothing to worry about. We don't exactly leave treasure just lying about unless it's for good reason. And what reason would that be? Let's just say there are certain things in this world you either are or aren't not supposed to have. If you're meant to touch something, you will. If not, well, fate so says everything out. I believe you're right about that, Duval. Listen, I've learned the hard way. So, yeah, there's a tip for those who come back to LaMut but don't go to the Mac Mordain Cadal first, that, oh, hey, you might be able to get some treasure here. Or we could, we didn't have that one thing that we couldn't pick the lock on yet. Well, let's talk to Sumani. Your will, Lord. A minute of your time, Keeper, if you have one to spare. All the hours of the day, if need be, Honorable Sire. How may I be of service? Well, we can now ask about the roads and Makala. I suspect the graveyard outside them will fill up faster than the grave digger can dig holes if the roads become any more treacherous. It is truer than you might imagine. The roads at night are patrolled now by the LaMutian Guard. Any found after dark will be slain on sight. No exceptions? Duval told me they managed to haggle, is that the word? Past one of the guards, but then again he's especially gifted with words. I myself would not wish to rely upon such a skill. And haggling. I've always found myself on the short end of a stick when I've tried my hand at haggling. Ask me to charm the dress off a peasant girl, no problem. When it comes to convincing a merchant to undersell something to me, I'm less than an expert. You were not born knowing how to walk, but you seem to have no difficulty in putting one foot in front of the other. Anything may be learned so long as you wish to truly learn it. So who would I speak to about learning how to haggle? Duval? Duval is Duval. His talent is a part of him, and I doubt he understands his own abilities. There is one who lives in Romney, however, who I think might help. He is known as Mitchell Waylander, and he is head of a very powerful guild, the Glaziers Guild. I had a very long conversation with him when he wished to buy a few of our Sereni pots. I think he could teach you something about haggling. Well, in fact, he did teach us something about haggling in the last chapter, but that does not do us much good this chapter. And Makala. We met a Serenian Krondor named Makala. Do you know anything about him? He is a great one of the Assembly of Magicians. Beyond that, I know little, as the great ones do not communicate with the lesser folk. Lesser folk? Those who are not of the Assembly are those who are not lords or ladies of the Serani Empire. It would be improper that a person such as I would speak to one of his rank unless he asked a question of me. That is the way of my former people. Yeah, magicians are a class unto themselves in the Serani Empire, which is a bit of a change from the kingdom, where it has apparently gotten better in the last 10 years with the creation of an academy devoted to magicians, but the common folk don't believe much in magic, apart from the places that now have magic shops. And we'll see if anything's at the garrison. Guards hurried across the courtyard. A red-eyed soldier met them at the central keep's door, his wolf's head tabard stained red, with streaks of blood, and his arm wound in bandages. Scratching his stubbled chin, he asked them what they wanted. "What in hell's happened to you?" James said, looking the soldier over. "Looks like you were in a terrible fight." "More at hell," the man croaked. "Whole clutch of their moss troopers are operating near here, and we found them out. We had to impose martial law until we're sure we've routed them. LaMutian soldiers strung from here all the way to Hawk's Hollow in the south, and east all the way to Tirasog. "Have any idea what they were up to?" James asked. "None," the man replied. "Though they all seem fairly upset about what's going on in the south, I'm not exactly sure what." James nodded and turned to go, but the guard reached through the gate and snagged his sleeve. "Don't be on the roads at night if you can help it at all. Our guards have orders to kill on sight anyone trying to pass through our checkpoints." Okay, so don't try and travel by night. Good hint. Good hint. Let's see, do I have any excess gear I can sell off? Well, yeah, I don't think they'll take that. Or that. And we'll give the spare sword to Owen so that... Well, I thought he had enough room to work with that. Nice bit of work all around there. Well, alright, well, not a bad day's adventuring that. I think we'll go ahead and close this chapter here. And next time, we will head up toward Yavin. We'll see you next time.